Okay. All right.
It's all gone. Oh no.
Whew, Beauregard, yeah. Woo, let's do this.
Hey, Bowen. Oh shit,
Hello and welcome to Narrative Telephone. For the uninitiated, here's how the game works. Our storyteller of choice will be starting us off by recording a short story. They will then send off that video to the next person who will only be able to watch it once. That person must then record themselves recounting that story to the best of their memory before sending their version off to the next person, and so on and so forth until everyone is gone. The final retelling is sure to be, well, you'll see how it goes. Expositor Beauregard Lionette here, and let me tell you about one of my greatest achievements while I still worked for my dad in Comorta. One summer, a rival winery decided to promote their upcoming vintage by posting a bunch of flyers smearing our family name. "Why drink like an animal when you can drink like a king?" it said, while featuring art of a pompous old man in a crown holding a lion in a chain. Needless to say, my father wasn't impressed and enlisted me to go talk to the Stossmans about having the flyers removed. Which I did, in my own way. I decided to pose as Fiona Alderbrook, an interested distributor who would love to have a tour. But right before I entered the estate, I took a big swig of mycothistle extract, generally used by clerics to induce vomiting within about 30 minutes after ingesting. They walked me through their entire operation, finishing the tour by presenting a giant steel drum filled with this season's vintage, mere days away from being bottled. Eleanor Stossman opened the vat, and just as she finishes waxing poetically on the patience needed over the 18 months to allow the malolactic fermentation process to fully achieve the perfect nuances of flavors, with expert aim and precision, my haggis and sauerkraut from the night before splash into the vat of Zinfandel. "That's for the Lionettes, you turd bottlers!" I yelled. Needless to say, the ruse was up. "Guards, get her!" Eleanor yelled. I bolted for the gate, popping the first guard with a running haymaker and dodging the second, flipping them off one last time when I got to the street for good measure. My father didn't really approve of my methods, but he did have a hard time arguing the effectiveness. The next day, with no product left to sell, not a single flyer could be found in Comorta for Stossman wine. Sorry, Eleanor.
Expositor Beauregard Lionette here with a story that starts in my hometown of Comorta, where I was just minding my own business when one day we got word that a rival winery was posting flyers that talked about, the flyers said, "Do you want to drink like an animal or do you want to drink like a king? If so, come to a tasting at our winery." And it featured artwork of a crown and a lion in chains, which we knew meant the Lionette family. Ooh, and we knew it was the work of those goddamn Stossmans, our rival wine family. What was I gonna do about this problem? Well, I posed as a young wine critic named Fiona Alderbrook, and I went to the tasting, looking my best. Eleanor Stossman herself let me in. Oh, she had no idea who I was. She also had no idea that I had ingested a mycothistle extract that all clerics know in about 30 minutes causes vomiting and upset stomachs. She showed me around the place. I had the run of her winery. In fact, she even showed me to the place, the steel drums, where they had just finished the 18-month bottling process of their malolactic fermentation of their priceless Zinfandel. Well, wouldn't you know it, as soon as I got to that drum, I barfed my haggis lunch all over their shitty ass wine. Everybody screamed in horror as my barf coated their fancy digs. Eleanor Stossman herself looked at me, and I said, "Yeah, that's right. You dumb fox." What did she say? Oh, she said, "Take that, turd bottlers. This is for the lionettes." And I flipped them the bird. Eleanor Strassman yelled out, "Guards, seize this wench!" And then it was on. Pop, pop. I punched the first guard with a sweet-ass haymaker, and then I was flipping off the rest as I dashed for the door. Made it home to Papa, and he said, he wasn't too pleased with my tactics, but you can't argue with the results, right? Beauregard got the job done. And wouldn't you know, sure enough, the next day in Comorta, whoo, no flyers left for that shit show. Peace out, motherfucker.
Hey, it's Beauregard Lionette here. And I'm here to tell you a tale that happened in my hometown of Comorta. One day I was, going around minding my own business, and I see this flyer posted around town. And it's this picture. It's this picture of a lion with a crown and chains. And I know right away that that's supposed to be the lionettes. And I know, oh shit. The flyer said, do you want to drink like an animal or do you want to drink like a king? So I knew it had to be our wine rivals, the Stossmans. So I came up with a plan, and I dressed up. I decided I was gonna go to shit. I decided I was gonna go to their wine tasting. So I dressed up as somebody else. I made my name Fiona Applebottom, and I went to the Stossman winery, and I showed up, and Eleanor Stossman herself opened the door, and she didn't even know it was me. That's right. And I went inside. She also didn't know that I had just had a drink of thistleberry thorn brew, which is a mixture that'll make you barf. Haha. So I went in, and she gave me the tour herself. She didn't even know. She walked me around the whole winery. She took me to see her giant steel drums where they had they were making the Zinfandel. And right when I got to the drums, I barfed all over. I barfed up my haggis lunch all over all the steel drums. And I was like, hey, fuck you, the lionettes are the best. And then all of the guards, she yelled, guard! And all the guards came running in, and I pop, and I gave the first guard a haymaker, and then pop, I laid out the second guard, and I flipped him all the bird, and I ran all the way home. And my dad wasn't too pleased with me doing that, with contaminating everything, but hey, who's gonna argue with the results? And we never saw the Stossmans post another flyer.
Hey, this is Beauregard Lionette, and I'm gonna tell you a story about something that happened to me in my hometown of Comorta. So I was walking around minding my own business, and I saw a flyer on the wall of the tavern, and it had a lion and chains, and it said above it, it said, "Do you want to drink like an animal, or do you want to drink like a king?" And I was like, I knew that the lion and chains was for the lionettes, and this must be our rival brewery, or the Stossmans, trying to muscle in on our hometown. So I had an idea. I put together a plan, and I thought I would go to a wine tasting at the Stossmans. But before I went, I drank some thistleberry mildew concoction that makes you super sick. but I held it all in, and I went to the to the winery, the Stossman's winery. Emily Stossman walked me right in. She didn't have any idea who I was. Oh, hello, and oh, would you mind giving me a tour? And it was like, yeah. She just took me right in, showed me the big steel drums where they make the wine, and they're taking me. And right when they get to the back to the cave where they store all the wine, I just spewed and threw up haggis from my last meal everywhere, completely messed up the place, and just flipped her off and said, yeah, this is for the Lionettes. That's what you get. And of course my dad was pretty mad about it, but he couldn't argue the results. So that's why, to this very day, the Stossmans have stayed out of our town. We've never had another flyer since, and I'm pretty sure I forgot a bunch of stuff, but that's okay. Because, on the way out though, I did beat up a bunch of their people, just this little pop. I did maybe beat up a bunch of people on the way out. That's fair. That might have happened. Yeah, no, that happened.
Hey, this is Beauregard Lionette, and I'm here to tell you a story from my hometown back at Comorta. I thought it'd be interesting for you to know. So, a while back, I was walking through town. I was just, having some times, partying, wandering, and I went into one of the local taverns there, and I saw posted on one of the boards was some sort of a flyer, and on this flyer there was there was a drawing of a lion in chains, and it was like, why do you want to drink like an animal when you can drink like a king? And I, looking at that lion in chains, I was like, oh, they mean the Lionettes. They're coming after my family. And that's not gonna fly here with the Lionettes. That's how we roll in this town. So I went ahead and prepped and did some subterfuge and set up myself for some sort of a crazy wine tasting. I think around here, Taliesin started closing his eyes. I went to this wine tasting, and so I got all set up there. I put on some outfit pieces to kind of camouflage who I was, and kind of snuck in there. But before I went in, I went ahead and drank some of this. Oh, by the way, this was the Stossmans. The Stossmans is this competitive family, and they're a bunch of dicks. Pretty sure I may have already said that, but regardless, important to point out once again. So anyway, before I went in there, I went ahead and had a whole bunch of this thistleberry, fungal, mossy tea, moldy tea, I guess, and I just drank a whole bunch of it and made my stomach feel all sick and ill, and I was like, okay, I think we're good to go. So I went ahead and marched my way over there to the Stossman winery. The lady at the front didn't even recognize me, showed me right in, got this magnificent tour of their entire established space. I think around here he may have opened his eyes. And got to see where they have all the giant steel casks where they make the wine, and got to see all their personal setups, a really gaudy location. And I waited till they were about to take me back to the wine caves where they stored all their final wine. And right as I got into the space, I just began to just spew all over everything and all over the inside of the wine cask, and just messed the place up. And right as they looked at this reaction, they turned and looked at me, and I just went, fuck all y'all Stossmans, Lionettes forever, fuck yeah, and then bolted out of there. Now they were aghast, and my dad was pretty pissed about the thing at first, but he also couldn't really argue with the results. So that kind of set off from that point that the Stossmans just kind of stay out of Comorta and our business there, and we don't have to interface with them directly, and that kind of set the boundaries between the two of us from that day. I'm pretty proud of it. I also probably should mention that while I was making my way up to the Stossmans there, I probably beat up a bunch of their guys, not, just pop, just kicking their ass and and so that probably happened. I'm pretty sure that definitely happened. So yeah, that's the story. And if you don't like it, fuck you.
Hey guys, I'm Beauregard Lionette, and I'm gonna fucking tell you a story right now about where I grew up in Comorta. And so, I'm out with my friends one night and we're just like, hanging out, getting, into trouble and having a good time. And then we're just like, what we should do? We should go to a tavern. So we go to the fucking tavern and we're in there, we're like drinking and shit. And I see a flyer. I see this flyer and there's a lion in chains, and it says, why do you want to drink like an animal when you can drink like a king? Okay? So I fucking rip the flyer down, I go home and I'm like, oh, this is the Stossmans. And so I get myself, different looking. Like I get like a, what is it? I disguise myself, okay? So I go to the fucking Stossmans. Fuck the Stossmans, first of all. So I get there and I'm, pounding that shit. All the fucking thistleberry, moldy ass, mossy drinks. And, just like throwing it back and just going to town. And then they're like, hey, look at this chick who's like drinking all of our products. Let's take her down to like the special stuff. So they take me down to the cave, like where the good shit is, like the steel case stuff. That's like the good stuff. And then I get down there, and the second I get down there, I'm like, blah! Spew all over it, fucking ruin it, vomit everywhere, just ruin all of their stuff. And I'm like, fuck you, Stossmans. And then I walk out and I'm like, pop, 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 pow, boom! Just fucking taking out all the Stossmans in my wake. And then my dad was pissed, but at the end of the day, he was like, well, whatever, you did what you did and you set up boundaries. You set up boundaries by what you did. So, fuck it. Fuck you, Stossmans. I fucking did it.
I'm Beau. I'm fucking Beauregard. I'm Beau, fucking Beauregard Lionette. And, I'm Beau. We've established that much. So, I was out, one time. I want to tell you a story about when I was, fucking back in Comorta. And one night I was, just hanging out with some of my friends. We went out, we were hanging out, drinking and shit. And, we were going crazy, and I saw this, a flyer on the wall with like a fucking lion on it. And the flyer said, hey, why you wanna drink like an animal when you can drink when you can drink like a king? A lion? A king. And I said, even though nobody said their name yet, fuck you, Tossmans, Schlossmans. Let's go with Tossmans. Fuck you, Tossmans. And then I just went to their house, and I was just like pounding that shit, their fucking fizzleberry, thistlebottom, fizzle, I got drunk, and they were like, man, look at her go. Fucking Beauregard Lionette. Sorry for my sleeves. And they were like, you know what? We should bring her down and show her the good shit. So they took me down into a cave where they had all their good shit. And then I just started drinking that, but then all of a sudden I just started, I fucking puked all over everything because, the alcohol consumption. And they're like, man, what's wrong with you? And I was like, fuck you, Tossmans. Daniel Schlossman. Tossmans. Fuck you. And then I was out of there. And I went back to my dad. And first he was fucking, like pissed and shit. But then he was like, you did what you did. And what you did is what you did, and you did what you had to do, and you set boundaries. Boundaries, and I can't remember if he was proud of me or not, just because I can't remember Ashley's story, but it doesn't seem like he would be proud, but maybe is. That guy's got like conflicting feelings. This is really just Liam theorizing through the Ashley impersonating 7 people to Marisha. And that's the end of the story. That's all I remember. Fuck you!
Hey, I'm Beau. I'm Beauregard. I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette. I'm Beau. I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette. I'm Beau. I guess we've established that. So I'm gonna tell you a story about one day when I was back in Comorta and I was going out drinking with my friends and we were just getting, fucking crazy because I'm fucking Beau Lionette. God, it's so fucking bright. And so we go out drinking and I see this flyer at a bar and it's got a lion on it and it says, instead of drinking like an animal, you should drink like a king. And I'm like, fuck you, Tossmans. Tossmans, fuck you, Tossmans, look. And so I just go to their house. I just go to the Tossmans' house and I'm like, fuck you. And they're like, drink this. It's a fizzleberry, fizzle dick. It's a fizzle for shizzle. And I just start drinking and they're like, whoa, look at her go. They're like, we should take her in and give her the good stuff. And they take me into their drinking cave underground. And I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette. And I go in there and I just start drinking all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, because of all the, alcohol consumption. And they're like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Crazy. And so I leave and I'm like, fuck you, Tossmans. And I go and talk to my dad and my dad's like, you did what you did because you did what you had to do and you did it because you had to do what you did. And you set boundaries. Boundaries. And then I think he was proud of me, but I don't know because I don't understand my father and neither does anyone else telling the story. And fuck you.
Hey guys.
Hey everybody.
Everybody. No.
Yeah.
Rock your body.
Wait, yeah. We can't. We're gonna get a DCA notice to be taken down off Twitch.
I sang that song in my college a cappella group.
Of course you did. Yeah. Were you the lead singer,
your hair said
Sam?
everything.
Was I a what singer?
The lead singer.
I took one of the verses. We split it up.
Nice. You got a solo?
The verses.
So I sang the one that goes, so everybody, everywhere.
Oh.
Good.
You had the best part.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Well, everybody.
Everybody.
Don't stop. We're going to get taken down.
Whose damn story are we doing tonight? Oh, yes. Marisha Ray.
You're evil.
Why? It was not any more difficult or complicated than anyone else's.
That's a lie.
I actually think it was quite simple from what I heard. I did it in less than 2 minutes. It's a piece of cake.
When did you go, Travis?
He was last.
Oh, great.
Well,
There wasn't much to it. I was really expecting some substance, but
I figured like by the time
Was
I
there
got
a
to you, it
winery?
was just a Yelp review of a winery at that point.
Oh, man.
2 stars, do not recommend.
It was a lot.
It was 2 minutes. My video was 2 minutes.
You
The
must
thing
have been
is-
talking so.
Oh,
I think I was talking pretty fast.
to be fair, I also feel like it wasn't 2 minutes very long.
No, it grew.
It
I
grew.
think by the time it got to me, it was almost 4 minutes.
I tried to reel it in,
But I
man.
cut it down.
I tried.
The thing is, you were doing Beau,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Beau doesn't talk like that fast. that was fast talking Beau. That was Beau on crank. On the crank.
Well, it was.
I don't know what's crank actually.
It was Beau with
Thing you
a
attach to a
stress.
hurdy-gurdy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to go, man.
I really want to see how it started.
Me
All right,
too.
let's
I
see.
am
2.
so excited to see
I'm thrilled.
happened.
Yo, you look so
Aw.
great.
We were babies once.
Expositor Beauregard
I've never seen
Lionette
your hair
here,
like that.
And let me tell you about one of my greatest achievements while I still worked for my dad in Comorta. One summer, a rival winery decided to promote their upcoming vintage by posting
remember
a bunch
any of that.
flyers smearing our family name. Why drink like an animal when you can drink like a king? It said, while featuring art of a pompous old man in a crown holding a lion in a chain.
Oh, cool.
Needless to say, my father wasn't impressed and enlisted me to go talk to the Stossmans about having the flyers removed, which I did, in my own way. I decided to pose as Fiona Alderbrook, an interested distributor who would love to have a tour. But right before I entered the estate, I took a big swig of mycothistle extract, generally used by clerics to induce vomiting within about 30 minutes after ingesting. They walked me through their entire operation, finishing the tour by presenting a giant steel drum filled with this season's vintage, mere days away from being bottled. Eleanor Stossman opened the vat, and just as she finishes waxing poetically on the patience needed over the 18 months to allow the malolactic fermentation process to fully achieve the perfect nuances of flavors.
You asshole.
What is this? What is
With
this?
expert aim and precision, my haggis and sauerkraut from the night before splash into the vat of Zimmer.
What?
Haggis?
Oh my God.
Turd bottlers, I yelled.
I forgot the
Needless
haggis.
to say, the ruse
How did
was
we
up.
lose haggis?
Get
That's
her,
my fault, I
Eleanor
think.
yelled. I bolted for the gate, popping the first guard with a running haymaker and dodging the second, flipping them off one last time when I got to the street for good measure. My father didn't really approve of my methods, but he did have a hard time arguing the effectiveness. The next day, with no product left to sell, not a single flyer could be found in Comorta for Stossman wine. Sorry, Eleanor.
Are you fucking nuts?
What?
Are you nuts?
How was that 2 minutes?
What are you talking about?
That was Beauregard eloquently narrates her own biopic. By the time I finished with it, I was doing a rant from Taxi Driver.
You said more words in that story than you have in the entirety of campaign 2.
Not just words, but so many specific descriptors and adjectives and place names and people names.
That was like a
and
Stand By
medicine
Me
names.
flashback. Like,
You
it
did-
was just
You didn't say sup one time in that. Where was sup?
Okay, Liam had 13 German words in his story.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
bagging on
I was
You're the
expecting more
focus.
90s California skateboard punk. That's kind of
my
that's kind of the
God.
vibe I'm
This
used to.
show is
Listen.
about blame, and this is your turn in the spot.
Who's the asshole now?
Yep.
Who's on top and who's
was-
on bottom now?
It was just so refined.
If you're feeling attacked, wait 3 minutes until you play mine, and then I will be attacked.
You did a great job, Sam.
Well, we'll see about that.
Okay, let's do Sam's.
Wow.
Whoa, crazy.
Hey,
guys.
look at those two.
Oh, yeah, that feels right.
That's a panic face.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm a fan.
Listen it up.
I'm a fan of.
There we go.
Let's do this. Expositor Beauregard Lionette here with a story that starts in my hometown of Comorta, where I was
Nailed
just
it.
minding my own business when one day we got word that a rival winery was posting flyers that talked about, the flyers said, do you want to drink like an animal or do you want to drink like a king? If so, come to a tasting at our winery. And it featured artwork of a crown and a lion in chains, which we knew meant the Lionette family.
Needlessly
Ooh, I knew it was
intense.
the work of those goddamn Stossmans.
Wow.
Of the wine family.
Wow.
What was I going to do about this problem? Well, I posed as a young wine critic named Fiona Alderbrook. And I went to the tasting, looking my best. Eleanor
didn't make
Stossman
it.
herself let me in. Oh, she had no idea who I was. She also had no idea that I had ingested a microthistle extract.
Yeah!
All clerics know.
Get the fuck
in about
out.
30 minutes causes vomiting and upset stomachs. She showed me around the place. I had the run of her winery. In fact, she even showed me the place, the steel drums, where they had just finished the 18-month bottling process of their malolactic fermentation of their priceless Zinfandel.
Come on!
I'm so proud of you.
As soon as I got to that drum.
No, he already knows all this stuff, though.
I barfed my haggis lunch all over there.
Haggis.
Shitty ass wine. Everybody screamed in horror as my barf coated their fancy digs. Eleanor Stossman herself looked at me and I said, "Yeah, that's right. You dumb fox." What did she say? Oh, she said, "Take that, turd bottlers. This is the Lionettes." And I flipped them the bird. Eleanor Strassman yelled out, "Guards, seize this wench!" And then it was on. Pop, pop. I punched the first guard with a sweet-ass haymaker, and then I was flipping off the rest as I dashed for the door. Made it home to Papa.
It turns into a surfer.
He said, he wasn't too pleased with my tactics, but you can't argue with the results, right? But
Yeah!
we got the job done. And wouldn't you know, sure enough, the next day in Comorta, whoo, no flyers left for that shit show. Peace out, motherfucker.
Really good, Sam.
Wow.
Went home to Papa.
That was weirdly solid. Malolactic fermentation.
I
is not long
mean,
for this
I'm
world.
very glad that was gone by the time.
Oh, yeah, there's no details in my story, just expletives.
No,
Just
sir.
I feel like it took this many episodes, but Sam actually got it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Good job, Sam.
That was incredible.
Number 2 position is
he's in the
always
number
place
2
to
slot.
thrive.
It's very
Yeah.
intense.
True.
That's
true.
untrue.
It's a very hard position to be in.
Well, for 7 of us.
Not in all cases.
I didn't want to let you guys down.
Thrive
I
is
feel
not
like
the word that I would use for number
I
2
feel like
spot.
I feel like in any other position you can kind of fuck around, but not in position 2.
No.
That's the key spot.
It's true.
Yeah, you did great.
You did great,
You did
Sam.
really
That was
great. You
amazing.
added
So
in a
good.
tasting.
Pop, pop. I added in a
that's great.
tasting. I messed up some stuff.
Mine was just like a tour, but you kind of made it better. You might have done a better bow than I did.
Look at that. You punched up her story.
And there was like a quick
Hey.
inflection of like surfer bow, which makes
Yep,
sense to
yep.
where I
It was a very Sam Regally bow. Very
Yeah,
Sam
which,
Regally.
meaning not very good.
Who was after?
I went
I
home
was
to
after
Papa.
Sam,
Yes.
and it starts to lose it for sure with me.
Okay.
Let's go.
Sam drifts into surfer. I drift into beat poet. I don't know why.
Oh, nice.
Freaking
Oh, I'm excited now.
Mama.
Yet another room.
Beauregard Lionette here, and I'm here to tell you a tale that happened in my hometown of Comorta.
Fists are going.
You know, one day I was, going around minding my own business, and I see this flyer posted around town, and it's this picture. It's this picture of a lion with a crown and chains. And I know right away that that's supposed to be the Lionettes. And I know, oh shit. The flyer said,
Oh, God.
do you want to drink like an animal or do you want to drink like a king? So I knew it had to be our wine rivals.
Can you believe that shit?
I want to freeze him in that just whenever you call, Laura.
So I came up with a plan, and I dressed up. I decided I was going to go to
agitated.
shit. I decided I was going to go to their wine tasting. So I dressed up as somebody else. I made my name Fiona Applebottom.
Yep.
And
Yep, it's all
Bound.
went
Back to
to
the jeans.
the Stossman
Bringing it back.
winery, and I showed up, and Eleanor Stossman herself opened the door, and she didn't even know it was me. That's right.
Eleanor's
and I
still
went
in there.
inside. She also didn't know that I had just had a drink of thistleberry thorn brew, a mixture
Thornberries.
that was barf.
Thorn brew, that's good though.
So I went in, and she gave me the tour herself. She didn't even know. She walked me around the whole winery. She took me to see her giant steel drums.
Yep.
Where they had they were making the Zinfandel. And right when I got to the drums,
Hello, bees.
I barfed all over. I barfed at my haggis lunch.
The haggis stayed.
Haggis is still
have
happening.
haggis.
And I was like, hey, fuck you, the lioness are best. And then all of the guards, she yelled, guard! And all the guards came running in, and I pop, and I gave the first guard a haymaker, and then pop, I laid out the second guard, and I put
really
on all the
polite,
bird,
Pops.
and I ran all the way home. And my dad wasn't too pleased with me doing that, with contaminating everything. But hey, who's gonna argue with the results? I never saw the Stossmans post another flyer.
Oh boy.
Oh, you popping and locking?
You just failed.
Doing some popping and locking there?
That's really not as bad as you think.
That cop.
Yeah.
That was you.
That cop did
incredibly
not.
proud.
Yes.
She did not make it into the Jump Street program. Nobody bought it.
Scared straight.
I would like a little bit of credit for making the actual original story end with Beauregard going home. That's pretty much how it ends for the first time, legitimately.
You gave an ending.
I gave an ending.
Wow.
Stories
And
when
also-
people go home.
Yeah. Because
We're
we've
gonna
all
give you
ended
credit
that
for
way,
that.
and they went home.
Well,
they
they
went home.
everything. We walked down
Marisha.
the street and then they went home.
They went home.
The credit
It's
is yours.
Thank
either
you.
this is my house, and then or I go
Yeah.
home.
So some of the details got lost in that one, Laura, but
Yeah.
the essence was there. The beginning, middle, and end. You
Not-
certainly
not
you
for
acted
long.
the part. You physicalized the role. You had
Your
some
pop
great
pops.
micro
Yeah.
expressions.
You have some like Blue Man Group shit going on. It was great.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you dropped something, you went back and picked it up, which was nice.
Yes.
That was as I will say, as a person who follows you, real helpful and real easy to like
Yes,
follow.
Taliesin.
As I'm like
You were
going,
next.
and then I had to go back and God.
Sorry.
I
About
can't
that.
wait.
uh,
I can't wait to go all the way around and come back to you, Marisha, because again, I was stunned by what I saw, which was like cool, collected, well spoken, and just slowly it's like, yeah, you're the man. And I remember what I did, and that's what it was.
I do too.
Can't wait. Can't wait till it turns into a caveman.
It's not far from it.
Let's see what Taliesin did. Okay, we're still at 2:30. That's still pretty good.
Not bad.
Oh, no. Okay. Hey, this is Beauregard Lionette, and I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me in my hometown of Gomorrah.
Gomorrah?
I was,
You say Gomorrah?
I was walking
Gomorrah?
around,
Gomorrah,
minding my
I got a
business,
little-
and I saw a flyer on the wall of the tavern, and it had my lion in chains, and it said above it, it said, "Do you want to drink like an animal, or do you want to drink like a king?" And I was like, I knew that the lion in chains was for the Lionettes, and this must be our rival brewery, or the Stossmans. The Stossmans.
Sure.
Trying to muscle in on our
good?
hometown. So I had an idea. I put together a plan, and I thought I would go to a wine tasting at the Stossmans.
Feeling the
Before I
vibe.
went, I drank some thistleberry mildew concoction that makes you super sick. And I held it all in, and I went to the winery, the Stossman's winery. Emily Stossman walked me right in. She didn't have any idea who I was.
This guy is a character in Clerks.
Oh, the eyes are
We got the eyes
closing. Eyes are closing.
Yeah, she just took
how
me
you
right
remember.
in, showed me the
He's in the groove.
steel drums where they make the wine.
Yeah, the drums are there.
Right when they get to the back to the cave where they store all the wine, I just spewed and threw up haggis from my last meal everywhere.
Haggis!
Completely messed up the place, and just flipped her off and said, "Yeah, this is for the Lionettes. That's what you get." Yeah. And of course, my dad was pretty mad about it, but he couldn't argue the results.
Yeah.
So that's why, to this very day, the Stoffsmans have stayed out of our town. We've never had another flyer since, and I'm pretty sure I forgot I forgot a bunch of stuff, but that's okay, because on the way out though, I did beat up a bunch of their people. Just this little pop. I did maybe beat up a bunch of people. That might have happened. Yeah, no, that happened. Oh no!
Oh, I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love with you, Taliesin.
God damn it! God
So
damn
charming.
it!
So charming.
Wow. Videos ended with the same. Oh no! Oh no!
So good. So good.
I like rebellious teen Taliesin.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Traces, just traces of Jay and Silent Bob there.
I'm outta
Just
here.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Here. Thank you, Matt. I knew you would know where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, Uncle
That was
Robert.
really good.
I love that Taliesin physically embodies the groove. Like he finds it, he stays
he's
in the
gotta
river,
hear it.
and he just goes where it takes him.
I couldn't tell if that was Taliesin or that was part of the story.
I don't know. I was trying to Beau.
Oh, did you go after Taliesin?
It's like a kayak going down the river.
Every time I think about Beau, I just think of like some long-haired skater from the '90s. I just hear,
For sure.
You're not,
For sure.
You're not wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
I like how the steel drum that they were making their wine in is now steel drums.
We might have to find a lot more steel drum music for this episode. Well, let's see how Matt did.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
sexy.
I love
With the
it.
hair game.
I don't even know where you filmed that.
You look like an elf, Matt.
Hair and it just turned into Geralt Rivia, so just. Hey, this is Beauregard Lionette, and I'm gonna tell you a story.
I did that. I'm sorry.
From my hometown, back to Comorta.
Laid back, Beau.
Thank you for correcting the name of the town.
A while back,
no
I was
more
walking through
Gomorrah.
town. I was just, having some times, partying, wandering,
Having
and I went into
some time.
one of the local taverns there, and I saw a poster on one of the
Sometimes.
boards with some sort of a flyer, and on this flyer there was like, I don't know, there was like a drawing of a lion in chains.
Oh, the arm's
and it
back.
was like,
Arm's back.
why do you want to drink like an animal when you can drink like a king? And I, looking at that lion in chains, I was like, oh, they mean the Lionettes. They're coming after my family. And that's not gonna fly here with the Lionettes. That's how we roll in this town. So I went ahead and prepped and did some subterfuge and set up myself for some sort of a crazy wine tasting.
Centrifuge. That's what it's
It's a crazy
I was this
centrifuge.
wine tasting.
It's the right word.
And I'll sit up there,
There you go.
put on some outfit pieces to kind of camouflage where I was, and kind of sit up in there. Before I went in, I went ahead and drank some of this.
doing a closed eye act.
Stossmans. The Stossmans is this competitive family, and they're
Oh no, he's doing it.
Going inward.
I've already said that, but
He's
regardless,
inside.
It's important to point out once again.
He's gone and had a good play.
Mind palace.
Before I went in there, I went ahead and had
He's in the upside down.
thistleberry,
He's on his own PCAP stage right now.
mossy tea, moldy tea,
Moldy
I guess, and I just drank a whole bunch of it. And I started to feel all sick and ill, and I was like, okay,
Where are
I'm
your
ready to go.
eyes,
So I went ahead and worked my way over
You're
there
trying.
to the Stossman Winery.
He's in the
I went to
Mind
the same
Palace.
place Taliesin goes. There's no
He's
way
in the
back.
Mind Palace.
Showed me right in.
Welcome to the Mind Palace.
Tour of their entire established space. I think right
there you go.
and
Free.
got to see where they have all the giant steel casks where they make the wine, and got to see all their like personal setups. A really gaudy location. And I waited till they were about to take me back to the wine case where they stored all their final wine. And right as I got into the space, I just began to just spew all over everything and all over the inside of the wine cask and just messed
Wow.
the place up. And right as they
Yeah.
Rip haggis.
they turned and looked at me, and I just went, "Fuck all y'all, Stossman's Lionettes forever!"
Bye-bye, haggis.
Fuck yeah! And then bolted out of there. Now they were aghast, and yeah, my dad was pretty pissed about the thing at first, but he also couldn't really argue with the results.
Yeah.
So that kind of set off from that point that the Stossmans just kind of stay out of Comorta and our business there, and we don't have to interface with them directly, and that kind of set the boundaries.
Oh,
Like
did it?
pushing into Jesse Pinkman territory.
I recognize that.
Yes.
I probably should mention that while I was making my way up to the Stossmans there, I probably beat up a bunch of their guys, not, just like pop, just kicking their ass and and so that probably happened. I'm pretty sure that definitely
No fear.
That definitely happened. So
Mr. Stossman, yeah.
Story. And if you don't like it, fuck you.
Wow.
The voice and the personality of Pinkman, but just looks wise, I'm getting Seagal in his prime.
Oh,
yeah.
In his prime.
Yes.
Sure.
There it is. It'd be squintier to really get it off.
Night
though.
Train.
Oh man.
Pre-Under Siege.
It's funny you said that.
Deep Siege.
Oh, I am sorry.
It was.
I admit, I think I lost the middle section because I was just laughing so hard at your eyes staying closed. I don't know what details you got or not.
I don't know how you did that. You had your eyes closed because after Matt. You had your eyes closed, and I was like, I can't do that.
No, it's the Mind Palace. If you just shut down and you're just trying to put it together.
Yeah.
Trying to put it together.
I'd never done the Mind Palace before. And now that I've done it, I don't want to do it again.
No, it's
really hard to get out of the Mind Palace.
Once you're in, you're trapped.
Is a dangerous trap. Do not do it.
It's fortified. You don't want to come outside.
Where's the door? I'm stuck.
Did
You were in there. You were in there for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Oh no, I was in there. It felt like hours.
Were you talking with Morpheus in there?
From my perspective, it was I lost 3 weeks in there. I barely made it out.
It's a heavy fun ball.
It's longer than you think.
Who's
Yeah.
after Matt?
Dang, maybe I need to add the Mind Palace for memory.
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, it's coming to my mind, Alice.
Fast alarm.
Things I've seen.
Beautiful.
Holy
Shit.
Wow.
Oh.
I don't know why that.
Stop.
Are we supposed to look good on this show?
You have to stop doing this.
It
Adam.
doesn't
It's not
happen.
fair.
It doesn't stay that way.
We never do that, Sam. Don't worry. We're up there.
Oh God.
You sank that ship behind you, didn't
Okay.
you? You just sank it and killed everyone on board.
All right.
Yep. Let's go.
Find it.
Sun's out, guns out.
Ooh, nice
Beauregard.
nails. Nice
There it
nails.
is. Nice nails and that jacket.
Inspired by you, Sam.
Best.
Hey
Shit.
guys, I'm Beauregard Lionette, and I'm gonna fucking tell you a story right now.
Yo.
Yeah.
Pool Hall,
Where
Ashley.
I grew up in Comorta, and so I'm out with my friends one night, and we're just hanging out, getting into trouble and having a good time, and then we're just like, you know what we should do? We should go to a tavern. So we go to the fucking tavern, and we're in there, we're like
Little
drinking
Boston
and
in there.
shit,
Yeah.
and
How you like
Fair.
them apples?
I see a flyer. I see this flyer. And there's a lion in chains.
And a couple
And
of
it
guys
says-
that were up to no good.
It says, why do you want to drink like an animal when you can drink like a king?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I fucking rip the flyer down. I go home and I'm like, oh, this is the Stossmans. And
I love the details you're adding, Ashley.
It's, at least it's still Stossman's.
bringing it
It's
to
Stossman stayed.
I get like what is it? I disguise myself, okay? So I go to the fucking Stossmans.
In a centrifuge.
Stossmans first. I get there, and
She's got the energy, man.
I love it.
pounding that shit.
Not
All
of
the
Marisha.
fucking Thistleberry, moldy ass, mossy drinks.
Stop doing that.
And just like throwing it back and just going to town.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then we're like,
did it.
Just going to town.
hey, look at this. It's like drinking all of our product. It's taken
So
down to like
good.
the special stuff. So
Wait, what?
I don't know. I thought take me down.
That's
to
where
the
that came
cave,
from.
Like
That's
where
where
the
that
good
came
shit
from.
is. Like
Oh,
the
that one's
steel
my fault.
case stuff. That's like the good stuff. And
Yeah.
then I get down there, and the second I get down there, I'm like, spew all over it, fucking ruin it, vomit everywhere,
Yeah.
ruin all of their stuff. And
Why stuff?
and
Stuff.
I'm like, fuck you, Stossmans. And then And then I walk out and I'm like, pop, 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 pow, boom. Just fucking taking out all the Stossmans in my wake. And then my dad was pissed.
Just killed them
But at
all.
the end of the day, he was like, well, whatever. You did what you did and you set up boundaries.
Oh, there it is.
You set up boundaries by what you did.
There it is.
Fuck you, Stossmans. I fucking
Oh boy.
did
Oh
it.
wow.
It's important. It's important to establish boundaries.
Boundaries
guys.
are important.
It's a very healthy thing to do.
It's a very healthy way to set boundaries.
If we've learned anything tonight, it's important to set boundaries.
I've misunderstood my therapist this whole time. I've been doing it wrong.
Yes, he's actually encouraging violence. That makes so much sense from what I saw from Liam. That makes so much sense.
What's great about it, though, is nothing that you said was necessarily wrong or untrue.
Yeah.
Like, all the added details
Could have
kind
happened.
of work. Yeah, they could have
I
happened.
love you, Marisha. I love
Added
that every person that
details.
goes, you're like, but you did great.
What about the
So good.
the subtracted details, the haggis, the details on the flyer? There were so many things that you
God.
said. Never mind. Let
I'm
the
proud of you
escalation
all.
continue.
No, I
well.
think it was great. I mean, next time I go to a restaurant or a place, I'm going to be like, hey, take me to the steel case where you keep all the good shit.
Steel case.
In the steel case.
I want to see Liam's impression.
Held it together.
Liam,
Held it
Liam
together.
is next.
We still have two more.
Here we go.
What is this now? Who's that behind you?
Okay, I'm gonna get into it. I'm Beau. I'm fucking Beauregard. I'm Beau, fucking Beauregard Lionette. And
Terrible.
You know, I'm
terrible.
Beau. We've established that much.
Yep.
So you know, I was out one time.
Good
I want to tell you a
start.
story about when I was, fucking back in Comorta.
You were fucking in Comorta.
One night I was
Appropriate.
just hanging out with some of my friends. We went out. We were hanging out,
It's very
drinking and
it's very
shit.
Bruce McCullough from Kids in the Hall.
Very
right here.
Bruce McCullough.
We were going crazy, and I saw this a flyer on the wall with like a fucking lion on it, and then the flyer said, "Hey,
Just a fucking lion?
Why you want to drink like an animal when you can drink some of the? When you can drink like a king?"
Okay.
And I said, even though nobody said their name yet, fuck you, Tossmans. Schlossmans.
the
Let's go with
Tossmans.
Tossmans. Fuck you,
Toss
Tossmans.
Osmonds.
And then I just went to their house, and I was just
To their
like
house.
pounding that shit, you know? Their fucking
Pounding what?
fizzleberry, thistle bottom,
Oh, no.
Whoa.
fizzle, I got drunk, and we were like, man, look at her go.
Oh, no.
Fucking Beauregard Lionette. Sorry for my sleeves. And they were like, you know what? We should bring her down and show her, the good shit. So they took me down into
Paradise
My
City.
fault.
Manic.
cave,
Manic.
where they had all the good shit. And then I just started drinking that, but then all of a sudden I
was
just
like-
started
Liam's bow is wasted.
puked all over everything because the alcohol consumption. And they're like, man, what the fuck are you? And I was like, fuck you, Tossmans, Daniel Schlossman, Tossmans, fuck you. And then I was out of there, and I went back to my dad, and first he was fucking pissed and shit, but then he was like,
Didn't remember to fight.
You did what you did. And what you did is what you did. And you did what you had to do. And you set boundaries. Boundaries. And I can't remember if he was proud of me or not, just because I can't remember Ashley's story. But it seems like he would be proud. But maybe that guy's got like conflicting feelings. This is really just Liam theorizing through the Ashley. Marisha. And that's the end of the
Don't you
story.
move
That's
blame
all I
for this.
remember. Fuck you.
I,
No.
I cannot recover from the Bruce McCullen comment.
So in that version of the story, Beau found a flyer, went to somebody's house, and just started drinking all their shit and puking all over the place.
That's
And
what
they
I
were
got
like,
too.
she's dope. They were into it.
Didn't fight
she set
anybody.
boundaries.
Just jumped down a green pipe.
I feel like I went to that party in high school. That's fair.
This girl gets to see the good shit.
She just came in and puked on everything.
That was like a Mario speed run, okay? I jumped into the green warp pipe and came out at level 8.
She drank the Goldschlager. She drank the Jägermeister. Let's give her the Everclear.
Let's show her the good shit.
This bitch is legit.
I love the instinct when you don't know what to do or say with Beau is to just add, fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck it.
And for some reason, she was like a skater, like a surfer, total West Coast surfer. I was like, okay, sure.
Yes.
That's where it ends up.
Okay, Travis.
I cannot wait.
Bring us home.
Bring him home.
Hey, that's in our closet.
Yeah. Sure. There at the ring light in honor of Marisha. It's like looking into the.
Harry, what we do in the shadows on the shot.
Hey, I'm Beau Regard.
Oh, no.
I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette. I'm Beau. I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette. I'm Beau. I guess we've established that. So let me tell you a story about one day when I was back in Comorta and I was going out drinking with my friends and we were just getting, fucking crazy because I'm fucking Beau Lionette. God, so fucking right.
There's a wild glare coming off of your
flyer
skin.
at a bar and it's got a lion on it and it says instead of drinking like an animal you should drink like a king.
Hey!
And I'm like,
That
"Well,
last
you
one.
There we
Tossmans,
go.
This is a catchy jingle.
And so I just go to their house. I just go to the Tossman's house and I'm like, fuck you. And they're like, drink this. It's a fizzleberry, fizzle dip. No! It's a fizzle for shizzle. And I just start drinking and they're like, whoa, look at her go. They're like, we should take her in and give her the good stuff. And they take me into their drinking cave underground. And I'm fucking Beau. Beauregard Lionette. I go in there and I just start drinking all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I fucking can't. Alcohol consumption. And they're like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Crazy. And so I leave and I'm like, fuck you, Tossmans. I go and talk to my dad and my dad's like, you did what you did.
Say it.
You did what you had to do and you did it because you had to do what you did. Boundaries. Boundaries. And then I think he was proud of me, but I don't know because I don't understand my father and neither does anyone else telling the story. And fuck you.
Yes.
Amazing.
Well done.
Yes.
Oh,
wow.
That was a long fall.
Wow.
What an
I don't know what Marisha.
I feel like that was the farthest we've fallen.
For
That might have
sure.
been a while.
Yes.
Might have been.
The
Yeah, it is-
Tossmans started as bad guys and end up good guys. And
Pretty
Just
cool.
giving out free shit.
The Tossmans were just frat boys by the end.
yeah.
Should have been at a winery.
That was really cool. I'm really glad she came over. You made like a new friend tonight.
Give her the good stuff.
It is going to be so humbling to watch Marisha's video again because it was like out of Gattaca. It was so cool and reserved.
It was clean and polished and like
Let me see.
I was
like an
exposed
AMC
by
biopic. It was
Expositor
so
Beauregard
clean.
Lionette.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my
okay,
god.
let's see it.
It was narration. Oh no, I can already feel bad.
What's up?
Expositor Beauregard Lionette.
No,
Oh,
totally
no.
different.
About one of my greatest achievements while I still worked for my dad in Comorta. One summer, a rival winery decided to promote their upcoming vintage by posting a bunch of flyers smearing our family name.
Mr.
Why
Anderson.
drink like an animal when you can drink like a king?
But where were your
Inside one
friends?
Featuring art of a pompous old man in a crown holding a lion in a chain.
No drinking with friends?
My father wasn't impressed and enlisted me to go talk to the Stossmans about having the flyers removed, which I did, in my own way. I decided to pose as Fiona Alderbrook, an interested distributor who would love to have a tour.
God.
But right before I entered the estate, I took a swig of Fiona extract, generally used by clerics to induce vomiting, within about 30 minutes after ingesting.
That makes sense.
They
That
walked
makes
me
more
through the
sense.
entire
That
operation,
makes more sense.
finishing the
For
tour
sure.
by presenting a giant steel drum filled with this season's vintage, mere days away from
The good shit!
And just as she finishes waxing poetically on the patience needed over the 18 months to allow the malolactic fermentation process to
Yep. Wow. Yeah, that was the thing.
achieve
Fermentation
the perfect nuances
process.
of flavors. With expert aim and precision, my haggis and sauerkraut from the night before splash into the vat of Zinfandel. That's for the lionettes, you turd bottlers. I know.
Nice.
Needless to say, the ruse was up. Guards, get her! Eleanor yelled. I bolted for the gate, popping the first guard with a running
Gone.
haymaker.
There
and
was not
dodging
even
the
a pop
second,
pop anywhere.
ripping
Vanished.
them off one last time when I got to the street.
Nothing. None of this.
My father didn't really approve of my methods, but he did have a hard time arguing the effectiveness. The next day,
Boundaries.
no product left to
You know,
sell.
boundaries.
Not a single flyer could be found in Comorta for Stossman wine.
Cause boundaries.
Sorry, Eleanor.
Boundaries.
Amazing.
It's like the first story is you debriefing your boss, and the second story is like 3 days later, drunk at your friend's house. Like,
Yes. And then I went
I
in.
was like,
And I was like,
fuck.
fuck you.
Good shit.
I'm Beauregard, fuck you, which is apparently my catchphrase.
I kind of want to say that just says I'm fucking Beauregard Lionette 3 times.
Fucking Beau, I'm fucking Beauregard. Beau.
And on the back it just says
Lionette.
boundaries.
I'm writing all these down. Yes.
No pop pops, no fuck you, but
Let me see Travis.
At all.
Let me
Boundaries.
see this travesty.
No wine. No
God.
wine in the last story.
That's amazing. Oh my god. I love it. Did go the complete opposite of Ashley's, where Marquita Bacardi became a raging bitch, and then the Stossmans became total awesome frat boys.
Great.
Oh, love the Tossmans, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Tossmans are awesome. Tossmans!
Tossman's like, man, do you remember that time that girl showed up on one day and just like fucking wrecked everything?
Dude.
she crashed.
Oh man, the
Oh,
Tossmans.
man.
The Tossmans are cool guys. They're cool guys.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
They know their
But
boundaries
sometimes
at the very least.
They do, but sometimes they do this thing where, because you know they're twins, they switch and then you don't know which one's which. They fuck with you, but
Couple
they're
of
good
wild
guys.
and
They're
crazy
good guys.
guys.
Pull the patty duke.
It's always wild night at the
Don't
Tossmans.
patty duke. That's cool. That ain't cool.
The Stossmans are actually canon, but I feel like the Tossmans have to be now too.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
the Stossmans
you mean
suck, but I
you
want to
mean
hang
Ro-
out with the Tossmans.
Ross and Joss Tossman? They're the best.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That was
I think this was our
amazing.
most successful story because by the time Travis was going, I was blind with tears.
Yes.
I would agree.
Sold.
It's really fun.
I was as blind as
God.
Matthew Mercer telling a Beauregard story.
I love you, man.
telling you because Lloyd Pose.
Mind Palace.
Yeah, it was the first
Guys.
time. It was the first time when recounting a story. I took a moment and I was like, "Am I forgetting anything?"
Nope.
Nope.
There was nothing there.
You nailed it pretty good. Yeah. Pretty close to Liam's.
You had,
Oh my
you had,
God.
you had 7 words. You were given 7 words, and one of them was fuck.
Rearranged them and rearranged them. And
Yeah, Beauregard, Beau,
Tossmans.
Beauregard, Lionette, and fuck you.
you.
That's what you had.
Ashley put in 10 fucks and I made it 30.
Yeah.
As you should.
All in.
Who's going next?
Oh yeah, let's
Oh,
roll.
that's right.
Who hasn't gone?
Roll off.
It's between Taliesin
Roll off.
and
Travis?
Travis.
Okay.
You better. Okay, is it high
TNT?
goes next or low goes next? I can't
High
remember.
goes next.
All right, here we go.
Down, down.
3, 2, 1.
Roll.
What is it? Oh, that's low.
11.
6.
No.
Tailspin Jafar.
Shitty.
I'm just gonna warn you. This is gonna hurt a lot. This is gonna hurt a lot.
Who can we know who you're gonna be? We can't know that
Yeah.
yet.
No, it's gonna be great. So
You have 3 options.
I do.
You are spoiled for
Well,
choice.
technically, we also have the Darrington
I'm-
Brigade that nobody's
I've got an
touched
idea.
on yet.
Yeah, it's true.
Give
I
me
have too good of
waffle.
an idea.
Give
I
me
have-
waffle.
I've got too good of an idea.
Oh no.
I didn't
Too
even
good
know
of an
that.
idea. Okay.
It's okay,
This
guys.
is
If it gets-
gonna
if
be
it gets
pure
too bad-
chaos. Pure chaos.
If it gets too bad, just don't forget.
Mind palace.
Talison's ideas come from here.
Oh yeah.
And there
In
you
the
can
groove.
find his vision.
In the groove.
In the mind
Feeling the
palace.
river.
In the mind palace.
Kayaking through the rapids.
Guys, I don't think the Vive is working. My Oculus is, I don't see anything.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Oh
I
my
love you
guys.
Love you guys.
Well, wait.
That was
Wait
great.
a second. If we're gonna end this, can we all exit through the Mind Palace together?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, here we
How
go.
will we
Wait, but
know
how
when
do we
everybody
click?
else is gone?
Ready?
We can all leave together. There's no
Is
social
everybody's eyes
distancing.
closed? I want to be the only
closing up.
shithead with my eyes closed.
Let's do it.
I'm in the palace.
Fuck you.
And fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. Good shit.
I got out of the Mind Palace early. I got bored.